The following is a presentation of Landrum Cardinals Athletics on Upstate Prep-Cast.
It's time for the Landrum Football Coaches Show with head coach Mike Reid on Upstate Prep-Cast. This show presented by Teddy Laster Racing Stables. In addition to the Briar Patch of Campobello, JB Trees LLC of Landrum, Stott Ford of Tryon, along with these supporting sponsors: Kickin Kutz Meat Market in Campobello, Peach Country of Campobello, Rogers Architectural Associates, Landrum Drug. And now from the Southside Smokehouse and Grill in Landrum, South Carolina, your hosts Steve Roper and Kevin Jackson with head coach of the Landrum Cardinals, Mike Reid.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Landrum Cardinals Football Coaches Show, live here at the Smokehouse and Grill in Landrum, South Carolina, with my good friend here, head coach Mike Reid, and my producer, Kevin Jackson, and Rob McIntyre on the camera. We're live tonight, as always, on a Tuesday night with our taping, and we're going to talk about last week's action, and we're going to talk about what's coming up this week. And, Coach, I have to say, it was an electric atmosphere last Friday night, to say the least. Kicking off the 2026 season, celebrating 100 years of Landrum High School. Yep. And for you, 2 years in a row, winning that first matchup. Mm-hmm. How's that feel?
I mean, it's always good to get the first win. Real proud of the guys and how they were able to handle a 2-hour delay. A lot of teams go in and they come out flat, and it's hard to get them back up. But they did a really good job of staying in the game and ready to come out after that delay.
Well, I tell you, the delay was, I think we were on the air, Kevin, 4.5 hours. Somewhere around that area, and we brought you some, if you watched it, highlights from the state championship of the girls, winning that, and that was something else. And but anyway, I mean, the action on the field was something else. Had some big plays, some big performances out of two players, and a young man stepping up to the occasion, making his bones on that night, and scoring that first touchdown of the 2026 season was pretty exciting.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we had several guys offensively step up, and Ian Patterson, he, for his first start as a quarterback, played really well. Took care of the football, scored 3 touchdowns. I mean, whenever we got in the 10-yard line, we knew we could just give it to him. And the way we were blocking up front, we knew we could just run the ball. And just had a big night.
Speaking of running the ball, we ran the bull.
Yes, we did.
J.P. Branyan rushed for 225 yards, I believe, and scored
1 touchdown.
1 touchdown, but Ian with 3.
Yep.
And that was just, something else. Now, some people may look at what we were doing and say it was vanilla. I know we can do a lot more, and you're not going to show everything that this offense could possibly be capable of in game one.
Well, honestly, we didn't have to do much. We did so well up front, blocking and being physical, that we didn't have to get fancy or whatever.
Well, in game one, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, but
maybe a few silly, not so silly penalties, Nick's tire penalties. Matter of fact.
We don't want any of that.
Yeah, that happened. Say the linemen a little down the field a little bit. These things all come with game experience.
Yep.
And they're young, and I found no fault in that. And who we got here, Coach, tonight? I'm telling you, he's got the headset on. He's ready to call a play Friday night.
That's right. Can you tell him your name?
No.
What's your name?
Trip.
Trip. How you doing, Trip?
Good.
You're going to be a ball player of some sort when you grow up, perhaps football, baseball, soccer. What's your favorite? What's your favorite
sport?
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs? Well, you're looking at a broadcaster here that's probably old as a dinosaur.
I know.
Oh, no. Goodness gracious.
Right,
it's obviously.
Yeah.
Can't you see?
Now hand the headset to your sister.
Give it to sister. Give it to sister.
Hello, young lady, and what is your name?
Kinley.
Kinley. And how old are you?
7.
You're 7 years old. And
I'm 4.
And you're 4. All right. So on Friday nights, do you go to the ball game? Do you like to root and cheer for your dad?
Yeah.
And if he wins, what do? Do you go down on the field and give him some daughterly love?
Yes.
Is it a handshake or a hug or a kiss for Daddy?
Hug.
It's just a hug. Let's get back to the game with Ian Patterson carrying the load along with J.P. Brannion. Cute kids there, Coach.
There's something.
Yeah, they are. And defensively, you look really sharp, too. First score of the 2026 season coming on a Knicks pick six. That's a Knicks tire penalty.
Yep.
Pick six by Dylan Collins.
Yeah, I mean, he
Dallas.
ran well. Dallas Collins, yeah.
By Dallas Collins, and his dad reminded me of that just
That's
before
right.
the broadcast. His name is Dallas, not
That's
Dylan.
right.
Dylan's going to think he's the first 8-year player in the history of Landrum High School.
Well, if you'll look back at the game, I
Yeah.
referred to Trey Nesbitt one time as Trey Fowler. Trey Fowler is a kid that I knew that played ball in 1990. So, I'm getting old, Coach. But regardless of the name, he did earn his moniker that tonight, Friday night, and he's the kid.
Yeah.
And I was explaining to him. He said, "Why the kid?" And I said, "Well, you're 120 pounds."
Yeah, but
he plays like he's 160.
He does. He plays. He plays the game fast. He understands the game. He read that route. We were in a certain coverage, and he did what he was supposed to do, and it paid off. And I tell you what, he was flying down the field. He pulled away from them guys. So.
The defensive line looked good, also with another Poree.
That's right.
But I know his name is Zeke.
Yep.
I'm not going to call him Titus. Okay, we've had so many brothers and cousins and everything else. Zeke looked real good, as did JT.
Yep. JT, Vuthi. Bobby played both ways. And,
yes.
We were very pleased with up front on both sides of the ball. I mean, everybody knows you don't win football games unless you win in the trenches.
Yep.
And we did that. We were able to control the line of scrimmage, and it paid off.
Kevin?
Coach, we talked about this a little bit last week of all the bonding exercises that your team did this year, and we talked a lot in our coaches show last year. Those seniors went through so much in their 4 years, and some of these juniors went through a lot of those experiences too, but you could really see Friday night, for maybe the first time in a long time, we're just absolutely all on the same page, pulling the same load, going the same direction. And how has it been, these guys, to finally just buy in and rely on each other and know that they've got each other's backs?
I think consistency is the biggest thing. We talked about it last year. There's been a lot of turnover, just different styles coming and going. And I think just having consistency and really harping on what you think is important. And like you said, the kids have bought in. They understand what's important. Football is a complete team sport. You can have 10 guys out there doing the exact same thing, but if you have one that doesn't, it doesn't work. And that's the biggest thing. You got to play as a team. You win as a team. You lose as a team. Everything we do, you got to do as a team, and that's how you win. And I'm not talking about just on the football field. That's how you win in life. I mean, it don't matter what you do. You have a team per se. I mean, and if you're not pulling in the same direction, it's not going to work.
These kids aren't going to stay in high school forever. They're going to be out in the real world soon. You prepare them for life's hardships, because believe me, there's more downs in life than up, but doesn't have to be.
That's right.
And but Coach, each week gives you more tape to look at, more film to diagnose. And when looking over last week, nothing's ever perfect in football, and most critics are either in the papers or somewhere else, and they like to point fingers and stuff. But you do your own fingerprint, your own criticisms of your own team, and you always look for the positives. But there's always something you got to work on.
Well, just penalties. Last year we were plagued with penalties, it seemed like, and I don't think we had as many as we had last year. But, there were several times we had some big runs that got called back.
I'll point to one was a good pass that Ian made to Nesbitt.
Yep.
And this is just where, I'm not a coach, but I was a player a long time ago in the last century. But the rule of thumb is don't go past the line of scrimmage. But as a lineman, I know how difficult that is. And as you're younger, as you didn't know possibly he was going to turn it up and run, and he threw it. But you got to have presence of mind of where you're at, and that comes with game experience.
Well, it does, but it's all, I mean, you do things in the game, especially as an offensive lineman. I mean, we're rolling off the ball, and these guys are getting pushed, and then we call a pass play, and they're in that mentality of we're going to blow them off the ball, and it happens,
I can see that. I pointed that out the other night, a little bit of inexperience, and it comes with game experience. And I too was guilty of that many years ago as a youngster.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin, we're going to dive deeper into the trenches here in just a few minutes and talk about that physical style of play and setting the tone. And we have one of our leaders, couple of leaders coming up this evening as our guest on each side of the ball. And we're going to come back right after this word from the Briar Patch, one of our sponsors, and we love them very much for coming on board. This is the Landrum Cardinal Coaches Football Show, live from the Smokehouse and Grill in Landrum, South Carolina, sponsored by Teddy Laster Racing Stables.
Come back, folks.
In the heart of Cardinal country, community means everything. And no one knows that better than the Briar Patch convenience store in Campobello. As a staunch supporter of Landrum High School athletics, the Briar Patch is conveniently located less than 2 miles from the campus. They're your absolute one-stop shop for gas, snacks, and ice-cold beverages. Whether you're filling up the tank or grabbing your favorite game day treats, they've got you covered in one quick trip. Support the local store that supports the Cardinals. Stop by the Briar Patch convenience store today.
All right, welcome back to the Southside Smokehouse here. We're going into segment 2 here. We're going to visit with a couple of Cardinal players coming up. And last week, the Landrum football team rolled up 300 and something yards offensively, and I tell you, it was all due to that big offensive front line. And anchoring the position this year up front is junior Bobby Evette, Big Bobby. Bobby, welcome to the Coaches Show. I want to ask the coach a couple of questions, what he's got to say about you first, and then Kevin might have a few things for you. Coach, what can you tell me about this young man and what he brought to the table last Friday night?
Well, like I said, Bobby's the type of kid that you want in your program. He does everything the right way. We talked last week about the leadership group. He had his own group. He was one of those leaders this offseason, and I kind of challenged him to kind of step out of his comfort zone a little bit, and he did. He led that group well. He was responsible for his group and got the things he was supposed to, and that leads to the field too. I mean, he's the leader of up front for us. He plays right tackle for us, but he gets everybody kind of lined up, kind of tells them what to do sometimes. And he's just the type of kid that you want up front and leading our group.
Bobby, I'm going to ask you this. You start off with a big 32-21 win over Walhalla and 300 yards. Like we said, the offensive line putting the big push up there. You as a leader up front, as the coach says, how do you feel about that?
We did our job, did it good.
Let's address the situation like I was asking the coach a while ago. Now, I know you weren't guilty. I watched the videotape. But some of the little silly things that take place as linemen, I've been an offensive lineman, like I said, 100 years ago. I know how it is. We get excited, when in the heat of battle, when you're hot and you're tired. Let's say in pass protection, we got a guy downfield a time or two. I mean, when that happens, you as a leader, what do you say to the guys?
You just got to tell them to, most of the time, just keep going. Don't let it get in your head too much.
Now, you guys appeared to me, and Coach might back me up on this if I'm wrong, you guys looked in pretty good shape. And the other night, it was one of these deals. You're hot and we're hot, but who can withstand it?
Yeah.
Longer. Has the coach been training you pretty hard this summer?
Yep.
How are you dealing with the heat?
I felt like I did pretty well with it. I think a lot of our line did pretty well with it.
Are you seeing a little bit of action on both sides of the ball also defensively, Coach?
Yep. And, we talked about it all week last week, and it was this way last year too. But, this game, especially early in the year, these games are won on who's in the best shape most of the time.
That's why I brought that point up. I could realize, like we made mention many times that we're not fortunate to have a lot of numbers up here. And for whatever reasons they may be, why some kids don't play and why they don't, who knows. Kevin made mention the other night that he went as far as Little League, and when he got to high school, and he said he wasn't going to endure that heat. And I said, oh, you're one of those guys that you can't take the heat. You headed straight for the kitchen.
That's me.
So, I understand the physical parts of football training and things like that, and especially in the heat of these late summer. I mean, the kids call it school year. Still summer to an old retired guy like me. But the training and all that, Bobby, I mean, how did you prepare yourself from the heat, from where you were in January in that weight room like the coach talked about last week, where, what you got out here today is what you put in January?
We just had a lot of opportunities to come get out in the heat during the summer to get acclimated to it, get ready for the August as much as we could.
Kevin, you want to ask him something here?
Bobby, I think we counted the other night maybe 10 players going both ways, Coach. I don't know if that number.
At least 10 at any time.
At least 10. Yeah. So, question I'm going to be able to ask a lot of y'all that come on the show, what is your favorite side of the ball? Which are you prefer to be on offensive or defense in the trench there?
I think I prefer defense. I think I'm better at offense, but I prefer to play defense.
Gotcha.
I like to play either one, just as long as I can be on the field. But that's one of the things that I've heard many coaches over the years talk about is we all should be grateful that you have the opportunity to just go out and compete on a Friday night. And the things that, the good Lord has blessed you and all these athletes with a healthy body and things like that, and some aren't afforded that opportunity, So,
right.
All right, Bobby, thank you very much for being here. Hope to see you back in here again this year, maybe as a Player of the Week again. That's good stuff. We appreciate it, and just can't say too much about the leadership that you're bringing to these younger players and things like that. And we'll be right back after this commercial message from JB Trees LLC, and you're watching the Landrum Cardinals Football Coaches Show on Upstate Prep-Cast, presented by Teddy Laster Racing Stables.
Got a tree that's too big, too close, or just plain dangerous? Don't wait until it comes crashing down. Call JB Trees LLC, your local tree cutting professionals. From dangerous trees and storm damage to trimming and complete tree removal, JB Trees LLC gets the job done safely and right. JB Trees LLC, cutting trees, clearing problems, and keeping your property looking its best. Call today for your free estimate, 864-497-8511. JB Trees LLC.
All right, back for segment 3 of the Landrum Cardinal Coaches Football Show here at the Smokehouse and Grill in Landrum, South Carolina. And I am joined now by probably the kid that made the big explosive play last Friday night, Kevin. And I tell you what, it was a 92-yard touchdown. But, you folks at home, by the magic of Kevin Jackson, you can watch right now at the pick 6. A Nick's tire, third down, pick 6 off the Nick's tire for Collins as he takes it to the rooster, Kevin, and that really got the game going for the Cardinals defensively, and they never looked back. Here he is, defensive back coach Brent Driggers, and he's going to introduce and bring along. I'm going to introduce him. Here he is. He earned his nickname last Friday night, ladies and gentlemen. 120 pounds, soaking wet, but pound for pound, you could probably say he's the strongest kid on the team. He told me he benches 145 and he weighs 120. That's not bad, in my opinion. Here he is. Let's get the name right for Dad. It is Dallas Collins, but we call him Dallas the Kid. Dallas, 92-yard pick 6.
Sir.
Explosive, exciting, electric. What were your thoughts?
Just not to get ran down. As soon as I caught the ball, my goal was to get a touchdown.
I believe I called your name. You got in some action late in the season for the Cardinals last year. Was that another Collins? I want to make sure I got the right Collins.
It was me.
It was you. Okay.
Sir.
And we liked what we saw from him last year, Coach. I was liking the hustle that we saw him. He carried the tater a couple of times. But in the defensive backfield, that's your specialty this year,
yes, sir.
Coach. What does this young man bring to the table?
He gets us lined up right, and he knows what calls we should be in. And if we line up wrong, he can get us in the right position, in the right coverage that Coach Thompson calls. So he's kind of the leader behind the secondary. He can get us where we need to be.
Now, Dallas, I'm going to ask you, you're a sophomore stepping up into a very major role in the secondary, getting the start.
Sir.
How's the excitement when from the time you go out of the locker room and you smell that grass, you see the crowd, you hear the PA announcers and the band is pumping and everything, and then that first play comes up. What is your mindset? Are you nervous?
I was very nervous.
He was very nervous. Mm-hmm. But that was your pick 6 came. I believe it was our first defensive series because we took the ball, moved the ball down the field, and we
second one.
Okay,
second one, yes.
We dropped it in the turf, and they took advantage, and they got in there close. And you stepped up in there at the right time. You read the play?
Yes, sir. They ran it earlier, so I pretty much knew it was probably going to be that play again.
That's good mindset, Coach. A lot of kids that age just don't have that mentality at that time being a sophomore?
Yes, sir. We were in what we call money man, and Dallas read it perfectly.
And the kid came up with the cash. You went to the bank with it, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
When you're running that thing, because of course I've never been in a position to run a touchdown. Had you, Coach, in your illustrious career in high school?
Yeah, I picked up a fumble.
Okay. Well, he knows what it's like. I have no idea. I bet you never recovered 6 fumbles in a season. When you're running down that field in the crowd, what is the feeling that one gets when they're in the open field and dashing to the end zone?
It's kind of nerve-wracking because you can make big mistakes, like dropping the ball, getting ran down.
My luck would be I would trip over my own feet in front of everybody and get horse laughed out of the stadium. Dallas, what are you expecting this week? I know we don't want to talk. I don't want you to talk about our opponents. That we'll leave that up to the coach. But what kind of performance do you think you can bring to the table this week to try to help get us a victory?
Just not letting up any big plays. They kind of like running trick plays and stuff like that, so reading that.
Now, we have so many players going both ways. You're also on the offense at the wideout, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
And we caught a pass the other night, did we not?
Yeah.
And, like you say, what, you weigh 120 pounds. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
I've got one leg that weighs 120 pounds. But I'll tell you what, pound for pound, this kid is lean. And we found out the other night that he's also mean, Kevin. He's lean and mean.
And fast. I mean, he when he caught that ball, you're expecting, a foot race down the field. There was nobody within about 20 yards of him. He just smoked everyone down the field. And I was telling somebody earlier, I'm sitting over there trying to mix everything together for the video, and I saw that initial quarterback turn his head, and there's very few times in these games where I've just seen something I think everyone in the stadium saw. He's throwing to the out and stuff. I think you read it. We all read it there, but you're the one that stepped up in the route there and took it back 92 yards for a touchdown. It's just a fantastic play and a good job being ready and being prepared, Dallas.
Sir, thank you.
Coach Driggers, from a defensive standpoint, how proud of you were of the entire unit when they swarmed to the ball defensively many times and made some big plays, including the big pick six, but even throughout the game, heat, the delay, and everything else. Both teams were tired, but as we talked with Coach Reid, the conditioning of your players compared to what you're going to be going up, everybody is basically even right now.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's a war of attrition. So how do you feel about your unit going into week 2? And hopefully it'll be a little cooler, but I don't know what the weather's going to do. It could rain us again Friday night, Kevin.
It could rain for the whole rest of the week.
Well, we know what we watched 96 on film. They're multiple front offense, so they like to run it, but they also like to throw it. So we'll probably have to play a little bit better in the secondary this week than we did against Walhalla, giving up a couple big passes against Walhalla. But hopefully we'll get that straightened out and play a little bit better in the secondary for us.
You heard that?
I think he's challenging you, sir.
Yeah, he's challenging the kid. And I'll tell you what, has anybody ever learned in the Old West, whether it was the Cisco kid, the California kid, or Billy the Kid, you don't challenge the kid from Campobello, South Carolina. I'm telling you that right now. Dallas and Coach Driggers, we really appreciate your time tonight. We wish you the best of luck this Friday night as you prepare to go down to 96 and bring home another W. And I hope you get 20 tackles, 6 pick sixes, and everything that you dream of, young man. And we look forward to calling out your name many more times this season. All right, we're going to be right back in just a few minutes with Coach Reid, and we'll finish this thing up. Listen to this commercial from one of our proud sponsors up at Stott's Ford in Tryon. You're listening to the Landrum Cardinals Coaches Football Show on Upstate Prep-Cast, presented by Teddy Laster Racing Stables.
It takes teamwork, dedication, and hometown pride to win under the Friday night lights. And that's exactly what drives Stott's Ford. For over 45 years, this family-owned dealership has supported schools across our local communities. Whether you're hauling the team's gear in a new F-150 or tackling a weekend adventure in a Bronco Sport, Stott's Ford has the perfect play for your driveway. Visit them at 222 North Trade Street in Tryon or shop online at stottsford.com. Stotts Ford, proud supporters of the Landrum Football Coaches Show.
All right, we're back here at the Southside Smokehouse and Grill in Landrum, South Carolina, with head coach Mike Reid, and we're going to talk about this week's opponent, the 96 Wildcats, if I'm not mistaken, Coach.
Yep.
And they're looking pretty good so far, as what we've seen on some scouting reports and have heard. They're very athletic, and it's going to be a battle.
It is. Anytime you go down to 96, you better go ready to play, because they've traditionally always been a very tough game. So they're, it's no different watching film. They're athletic, they're quick, they're pretty physical up front. So it's going to be a tough game.
They're coming off a pretty tough game against Mid-Carolina themselves, and a program like 96 is always dangerous. They're always well coached. What kind of challenges, that in itself is going to bring. And I think as for the Landrum Cardinals, let's go down and let's be competitive and do what you do, and let's see if you can walk out with a W.
That's right. I mean, you watch their film against Mid-Carolina, and, they gave up 49 points, but they also had some mistakes. You take those mistakes away, that's a lot closer ball game. And football, you got to capitalize on those mistakes, and Mid-Carolina did. But, if they clean those up, they're going to be a dangerous team. So.
And Mid-Carolina, a pretty good team on their own.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Mid-Carolina's traditionally put out some good teams, since the late 80s. Yep. 96 is going to be looking to jumpstart that offense this week, too, and try to cut out the penalties, as you said, that cost them some yardage and some scores and things like that. Looking at ourselves offensively, we're going to run the rock. And so you're telling me that we're going to line up and it's going to be man against man.
It's going to be smash mouth football.
Yeah.
I mean, now, looking at 96 this year, in the past they've been kind of a wing tee type the last couple of years, but this year they're more spread. But they're still physical up front. They still run the ball. They're going to throw it a little bit more than in the past. But, like I said, it's going to be a physical game. It's going to.
Kevin?
Yeah, as we get ready for another Friday night battle, what is your message to the team and the fans that are planning to make this trip down here? What do you need out of
It's not that far to travel, really.
It's really
a nice, pleasant drive.
Yeah, it's not bad. But, just telling our kids all week that you got to be prepared. Don't get complacent. You win a football game, that's great, but what you did Friday night is not going to help you this Friday. You got to come out. You got to prepare each day. You got to get better each day. We've had a couple decent days of practice, but we can always do better. But this week, it's a different level of competition. The competition levels went up, and we got to be prepared for that. And I think our guys understand that this is not going to be an easy game. They just have to come prepared, be ready for a battle, and it's going to be a physical game.
And I think you've coached these boys to the point they know that no game on our schedule is going to be easy. And we probably play the toughest schedule any 2A program in the state when you look down the list.
But it's like I told you, and I told the kids this. I tell them all the time. I mean, to get where you want to get, you have to play those teams. So what better way to do it than region? So, I mean, every game is going to be a battle. I mean, but you play these games because you never know what's going to happen. But, I have all the faith in our guys. We're going to be a physical football team, and we're going to line up, and we're going to play. And
we saw a lot of physicality, as you told us, in our first coaching show, and that was evident last Friday night. Zeke Pori, JT Giss, I get my JTs and my TJs. Had some great tackles defensively. Of course, Ian Patterson, can't say enough about him on both sides of the ball either.
Well, all those guys you mentioned.
And nobody overshadowed one another. They were very complimentary.
It was a great team win. Yeah, it was. I mean, but, you mentioned all those guys, and they all played over 160 snaps. I mean, that's a lot of football. So that's just a testament to them, taking care of their body and getting their body prepared to go, that many plays. And it's not easy to do. It is not easy to do. And again, all those guys that went both ways, I mean, they knew they had to get their body right, and they did. So kudos to them.
I'm seeing, you're keeping the guys hydrated very well. I don't see a lot of kids coming out, with heat exhaustion and things like that. And
well,
I have seen that on some bigger schools.
Well, I tell them all the time, if you get cramps, it's selfish because you're the one who controls the water you put in your body.
You know, Coach, I think before the season when we're looking at the schedule, once it's released, you know, I kind of split the season in two, 5 and 5, and out of this first 5, and certainly no disrespect to any of our first 5 opponents, but 96 was probably, in my opinion, going to be the toughest of this and would be the best bellwether of what we were going to have as the season goes on. So it's just going to be a real good time to go down there and see how we measure up and see how we progressed and continue to improve.
It's going to be a good test, but, you know, everybody on our schedule can beat us at any moment if we don't prepare right.
Right.
So, you know, again, it's going to be a tough test. I think our guys are going to show up. You know, I think they're going to give everything they've got. There's no doubt about that. It's just a matter, can we execute?
Right.
Can we execute? And I think if we do that, we'll be all right.
Well, Justin, if you wouldn't mind stepping over here and bringing out a little something I want to present to the coach this evening in honor and celebration of his 2 wins over Hogwalla 2 years in a row. We'd like to present the coach. Rob, you want to come give it to Rob, Justin? Rob gets the honor of presenting the coach with what we at Upstate Prep-Cast have. You've heard of the Egg Bowl, the Iron Bowl, Palmetto Bowl. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you beat Walhalla 2 years in a row, you get the coveted Trotters Trophy Bowl of pickled pig feet. And, of course, that little Oscar statue on top there is
a rough day.
Well, that's the Oscar I won this past weekend, if you wanted to talk about what happened with a little little snippet of me saying one little thing, Coach. Well, I'm always in trouble.
Well, as we wrap up.
If you notice that some of this is missing, Kevin and I had a couple on the way up.
Now, y'all can have it back after the show.
Come on.
Well, as we wrap up, we want to give
Next year, if they beat you, they get a little thing of pickled eggs, like little Cardinal eggs, you know.
Well, as we wrap up, we want to give a special thanks to all our local sponsors who make this broadcast possible. First, Teddy Laster Racing Stables, who, again, the big winner on the track is his horse that he partially owns. Won the Coolmore City of Troy Northrop Stakes at York race. That's over in England.
Over in England.
And
that's number 2.
Second big race over there.
And won the Royal Ascot first, and then this one.
And then this one, and it's playing. That finish is playing as we talk about this. So congratulations again to Teddy Laster for
the British press are going gaga over this horse. They called it, if I'm not mistaken, the bridled rocket, the rocket bridle. They calling it the American sensation. No American-bred horse has ever gone over there and won these races.
Yes.
So that's what's, you know, fantastic about this horse, Baccio. Keep it on your calendars. He's got one more race to run, and it's going to be a sprint race, and it's kind of like the American Triple Crown. This horse, and you've got a Campobello connection, is going to be running for something that horse racing fanatics all over the world will be watching. And speaking of all over the world watching, we had 100,000 views last week. You believe it? 100,000 people watched a bit of the Landrum Cardinals football game last week.
Well, if you'd be quiet, I'd tell everybody about it. But anyway.
That cost him an extra $1, won't it, Coach?
But, yeah, I mean, we had a random moment in pregame where we've said much funnier things or most crazier things, stupider things. But for whatever reason, a gentleman – clipped it and said we were in mid-season form, and I think meant that in a positive way and laughed at it. And it's between X and Facebook and TikTok, it got 100,000 views. So Landrum Cardinals football, 100,000 views for the week, Coach.
That's pretty good. Get our brand out there.
Getting the brand out there, and so
it was more promoting me than you.
It's all right.
That's what he thinks. Also, special thanks to the Briar Convenience store of Campobello. And here we go with the mute button, folks, as I should have done a long time ago. JB Trees LLC, Stott's Ford, Kickin Kutz Meat Market, Peach Country, Ray Rogers Jr. of Rogers Architectural Associates, and just joined the program last week after the coaches show, Landrum Drug. So thanks to all these sponsors. If you'd like to partner with us or learn more about our broadcast, visit us online at www.upstateprepcast.net/Landrum. Also, make sure to find us on YouTube. Look for Landrum Cardinals on Upstate Prep-Cast. Subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notifications every time we go live or upload content. And now we unmute him. Back to Steve Roper.
And I'm going to ask the coach one final thing. You got any final words as we head down the road to 96?
You know, we're going to try to get another win, and you know, I think we've prepared enough this week, and we just hope we have a good showing and a good travel with us.
And we here at Upstate Prep-Cast hope that each and every one of you will also make the trek down to Greenwood County, Kevin.
That's right. And pray,
Thanks, buddy.
and pray for me, because now he thinks he's famous, folks.
Yeah, well, you are what you are. What can I say? Travel on down with us to 96 as the Landrum Cardinals take on the 96 High School Wildcats this Friday night. It promises to be a good one. But if you can't make it the game, like Kevin said, tune in to Upstate Prep-Cast. We'll be glad to bring you all the action.
While we're still here.
Yeah, well, at least I still got a job. Coach, what do we say?
Hey.
What do you say, young man?
Say go Cards.
We're going to get the kids. Say it, kids.
Cardinals.
Go
Cardinals.
There you go. Thank you.